Welcome. My name is Alex. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe and let me know in the comments below what else you would like to see from my channel. Today's practice is going to be very beginner friendly. I will spend a little bit of extra time explaining what we're doing and how to do each pose safely, and I will do my best to provide you with modifications as needed. You might want a couple of blocks. If you don't have a block, you can use a book or a pillow. And let's just begin. In a child's pose, knees are a comfortable distance apart, big toes are together. Walk your hands out in front of you, and you might put a block under the forehead if you need. But bring yourself down to the mat and arrive in the present moment. All that matters is what you feel and what you're doing right now. And right now, you're going to focus on the breath. Just notice as you breathe in how the body fills up. And then there's that transition to the exhale that you don't even have to think about. Let's take a controlled breath in through the nose. Breathe in, fill up. Exhale through the mouth. Just breathe, press out any stale air. Let's do that again. Inhale. Can you relax your body any more where you are? Now breathe as best as you can, in and out through the nose. Gently lengthen each inhale. Complete each exhale. Press up into a tabletop, all fours. You're going to bring the knees underneath the hips, and the hands are shoulder width on the mat. Fingers are spread wide, index fingers point straight ahead. Find a neutral spine, so not arching, not rounding. Find somewhere in the middle. Tops of the feet are on the mat. We're going to do 3 cat-cow. On an inhale, arch the back. This is cow pose. Lift the tailbone and breathe in. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. On an exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin, the tailbone, and press the mat away. Float back in. Inhale, arch the back, cow. And longer exhale, exaggerate the rounding of your spine. Once more. Inhale, open up. Exhale, round and bring it back in. Now, neutral spine. Find somewhere in between those two poses. Step your hands maybe one full palm print forward, give or take. We're going to tuck the toes and lift the knees off the mat. As you press the palms down, press your hips up and back. Leave the knees soft. You're on your toes, and we will start to press the heels down and unbend the knees. Feet are hip width distance. You can take a peek. Hands are shoulder width, and you're pressing down through the front part of your hand. So like the knuckle or the top of your palm. Take a breath here. Let's bend one knee at a time and press one heel down at a time. The head and the neck are off duty, and you can relax the breath. All right, find a moment of stillness. So set your feet up, press the heels back, and the knees might stay soft. Let's bend the knees wherever you are and walk to the top of the mat. Separate your feet about hip width, maybe a little bit more, so you can relax over the legs. Bend the knees, straighten one leg at a time. You might ragdoll, and that involves holding opposite elbows and just doing your best to relax the upper body. Place your hands on the mat or a prop in front of you and bring your feet together. Bend the knees and relax over the legs again. And from here, start to pull the lower belly in as you round up to a standing position. So lift the toes, spread them, set them down. You want to be evenly on both feet. Feet are together. You might need a little bit of distance between the feet. That's okay too. Place one hand on the tailbone and one hand on your stomach and gently encourage the tailbone to lengthen. Draw the core in and bring your palms to touch at heart center. Relax the shoulders down. Take a breath. Let's set an intention for our practice. That means we're picking something to focus on, something to bring yourself back to. It's an exercise for the mind in learning how to control where your thoughts are going. You keep it simple though. So the intention today is being grateful for your decision to try something out, to do something good for yourself. Just that simple wanting, that desire, it's an amazing thing. Let's take a breath through the nose. Exhale through the nose. On an inhale, reach the arms overhead. Keep them shoulder width distance. Let the elbows be soft so you can lower the shoulders and tuck the lower belly a little bit, long spine. Elbows are bent, pointing forward, and the palms face each other. Breathe. Just feel what you feel. The arms get tired after a while, but you're focusing on the breath. We're lifting and lengthening slowly. On an inhale, straighten the arms and look up between the hands. Exhale, bend the knees, swan dive the arms around and down, forward fold. Knees are bent, knees are soft. This helps you to access the entire back body without as much restriction from tight hamstrings and or back. Draw in the core, press up to standing. Arms float overhead. This time, bring the palms to touch. Really seal the palms, press them together, relax the shoulders down, and open up the elbows. Draw them apart. Press the palms again, lower the tailbone and breathe. Inhale, straighten the arms, keep the palms together, lift the gaze. And exhale, forward fold, bend the knees, relax over the legs. Place your hands on the mat and step the right foot all the way to the back for a lunge. Knee over ankle. What I mostly see is you go forward like this because it's saving where you feel the stretch. Nope, bring it back. Blocks would go underneath your hands to bring the floor closer to you. Right angle with the left front knee, tall on the toes of the back foot. Breathe. If you need to, you can lower the right knee. Left foot steps back to a plank pose, also known as the top of a push-up. You can also lower your knees if you need to, but make sure you're still pressing and pulling the core in. Slow down the breath. Yoga, people think flexibility, yes, but flexibility is worthless without some strength to support it, and vice versa. Lower your knees to the mat and lower all the way down to the stomach. Keep the elbows in close, tops of the feet on the mat about hip width distance or together. Roll the shoulder blades back, keep the hands down, and lift up middle upper back for a cobra. Take a couple of short rounds of breath. Release, lower down, press back up to a tabletop. Make this strong, make it available. Tuck the toes, we're back to downward facing dog. Lift the hips up and back. You might need to walk through the feet again if that sounds good. But as you warm up, you want to find stillness in your poses so you can focus on the breath and bring yourself back to the present moment. We're going to step the right foot up for a lunge. If you need to, lower the left knee. Use the right hand to help scoop your right foot up. Set it up again. Tall on the toes of the back foot. Right angle with the right knee as best you can. Knee over ankle. We're not lunging forward. Press the back leg as straight as you can. Press off the back foot and step to the top of your mat. Bend the knees. Relax in a forward fold. Press up to stand. And arrive. Hands to heart center. If you need to use your hands to assist in creating that good posture, just bring yourself back. We've been here before, but notice how anything has shifted within you. You're being focused on your present moment, and we are still in that present moment. Inhale, arms overhead. Bring the palms to touch. Interlace the fingers, index fingers out. Look up at your hands. You can let the neck go back if you're okay with that. Try to press a button on the ceiling. And take about 3 small rounds of breath. Lift up to release, forward fold. Left foot steps back to a lunge. Start to notice the little cues you'll hear over and over again. Knee over ankle. Tall on the toes of the back foot. Relax the back of the neck. If it's tensing up, just lower the chin and take a breath. Right foot back to plank. Pull in the stomach, press the mat away. We're going to do a chaturanga. Very similar to a push-up. Keep the elbows in close, lower your knees, and I'll use a block to demonstrate. You're not going all the way down. You're going to keep the elbows in close, bend them, and see how my shoulder is tapping the top of the block? That's really as far as you need to go. All right, I know you're ready. Press into an upward facing dog. Arms are straight. Let the tops of the feet be on the mat. Press the shoulders away from the ears. If the weight is sinking into the heels of the palms, readjust. Try to level that out to save the wrists. And breathe. Tuck the toes. Downward facing dog. So chaturanga, upward dog to downward dog, is what will be referred to as a vinyasa. It's breath with movement. Step the left foot up between the hands. If you need to, lower the right knee. You're going to scoop the left heel up. Fingertips or blocks lift the back knee, tuck the right toes. Knee over ankle. Slow down the breath. Press off of the right foot. Come back to a forward fold at the top of your mat. Still keep the knees soft so you can drape over the thighs. But as you get warmed up, as you have been moving for a little bit, you can begin to straighten and find more length. Press into the heels and round up to stand. And stand tall. Inhale, arms overhead. Interlace the fingers, index fingers out. We're going to find our very first gentle back bend. So reach for that button on the ceiling and then look behind your hands and move your hips forward 2 inches. Let's breathe 3 small rounds of breath right here. Good job. Carefully lift up back to normal standing and forward fold, bend the knees. Halfway lift, inhale. Keep the knees soft, lower the chin so the back of the neck is long. You're looking for a right angle with your body. Someday you might leave your hands on the mat, but let's just bring our hands to the fronts of the shins, and the weight is in the front parts of your feet, like you're gonna lift your heels, but not. You leave them flat. Forward fold. Let's inhale, halfway lift again. Find that length. Reach the crown of the head away from the tailbone. From here, place the hands down and step back to your plank pose. We're gonna vinyasa. Lower your knees to the mat. Keep the elbows in close. Halfway down, press through, upward dog, tops of the feet on the mat. Elbow creases rotate toward the front, not all the way, but that will help you to roll the shoulders back. Inhale, maybe the tops of the feet press down and lift the knees. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Tuck the toes and press back. Bring the right foot up between the hands for a lunge. And we're going to go into crescent lunge. You already have this great bend in the front knee. Let's try to leave that there, tall on the toes of your back foot. Bring your hands to hips and lift your upper body up. The back knee can stay soft so you can stretch through the feet. Let's focus on keeping the front knee bent and getting the shoulders over the hips. You might be arching out or off, or, we're all different. I tend to arch out. And so, take a moment to relax the shoulders and find that good posture like we did. Maybe you place a hand on your stomach and lower back, and you're feeling this right leg. Bring the arms overhead. Keep the elbows soft, bending forward so the shoulders relax down. Palms face each other. This is a modified crescent lunge. Eventually the arms will straighten, the back leg will straighten, but this will give you a strong foundation so that you don't go out of whack when we do move forward. Release your hands down to the mat and frame your right foot. We're in a lunge. Step the right foot back to a plank. Scan your body right to left. What feels different? Downward facing dog. Press into the hands. Separate the feet. Try to lower the heels to the mat. The knees can stay bent. Left foot up between the hands. And if it was too much to stay lifted, just lower the back knee, and you can do this kneeling until you are more comfortable with lifting the upper body up. Let's do hands to hips again. tall on the toes of the back foot. So you're not stretching the heel or the Achilles, it's the foot. Shoulders over hips, keep that bend in the left knee. And let's lift the arms above our heads. Elbows stay soft so you can pull in the core, lower the tailbone, and relax the shoulders. Bring your hands down to frame the left foot. And this is where you would place blocks under your hands if you need to. Left foot steps back to plank. Knees up or down. Downward facing dog. Lower to your knees. Tabletop, untuck the feet. Let's do one cat-cow. Remember, we're going to arch the back. So arch, inhale. Add a little extra. And exhale. Press the palms down. Soften the elbows so you can tuck the chin and feel this in the upper back. All right, somewhere in the middle. Tuck the toes. Downward facing dog. If you are ever in a class and you don't want to do the vinyasas or you need to save your energy to be able to finish the class, you can do cat-cow in between and then meet back in down dog. Step the right foot up between the hands. No, actually not quite that far. So step your right foot up to just behind the hands. Back foot is going to be flat. Step it to the left a little bit and lift up. Bring your hands to hips. To get the back foot flat, you're going to pigeon toe it a little bit. It's going to be 45 degrees. Basically, the heel is a little bit closer to the back edge of the mat than the pinky edge. Step your feet apart, more mat width, at least in the beginning, so you can bring the left hip forward. Remember, we want the shoulders over our hips. The bend in the front knee won't be as much because this muscle's a lot tighter on the left leg. Arms overhead. Let's keep the elbows soft. Press into the feet like you're going to lift up, but just engage the legs. This is Warrior One. Hands float down to frame the right foot. You might need to bring the right foot into between the hands, lift onto the toes of the back foot. Right foot back to plank. Downward dog. Let's find stillness. Scan the body right to left again. How is your breath? Can you relax your temples, your expression? Left foot steps up to behind the hands. Flatten the right foot. Widen the stance and let's hands to hips for now as we lift up. For me, it takes a little bit of wiggling to kind of figure out where I want to be. So I like the hands to the hips. Right heel is closer to the mat, back of the mat, than the right pinky edge. Let's bring the arms overhead, bend into the left knee, and try to bring the hips so they are square to the front of the mat. Basically, if your hips were headlights, they would both be facing forward. Like if you're driving and one's like, okay, that's my reference. Press through the feet, relax the shoulders, keep the elbows soft for now. Hands down to frame the left foot. That was Warrior One, by the way. Lift onto the toes of the right foot. We're in a lunge. Start to pull the core in a little bit more as the hips open up so you feel a stretch. And the left foot goes back to a plank. Downward facing dog. Take a minute to check in with your down dog. Index fingers point straight ahead, so Look up there, fingers spread wide, shoulders away from the ears. Press your chest toward the thighs. This pose will feel like a lot of work in the beginning until the shoulders open up, but it will become a resting pose technically. Sorry if that sounds annoying right now, but you'll get there. All right, let's look up to the top of the mat, bend the knees, and walk up to your hands. Relax over the legs. You can start to lengthen out if you have the room. Press up to standing. Create that good posture. Bring the hands to heart center. And recall that gratitude you cultivated for your desire to try this out. And if you're watching this again, your desire to try this out again, maybe every day, turn to face the long edge of your mat and step your feet apart. They'll be just about underneath your wrists if you hold your arms out. Hands to hips. Your left foot will stay parallel to the left edge of the mat. The right toes are going to point to the front edge of the mat. Let's bring hands to hips for now. Bend the right knee. Keep your hands on your hips because that will help you to stay, not going back and forth like that. So just bend the right knee. Pull in the core. You might not go that deep. It's okay. Bring your palms to touch. Now reach your arms out in front of you, palms down. And then bring your pinkies back. Draw the shoulder blades together. Look over the right hand. This is Warrior 2. Make sure that the right knee is over the ankle, the front knee. You don't want it to be right or left. And depending on how your kneecaps are, mine are like really pointy, so I get this little diagonal, but I can see my big toe. You should be able to see maybe a sliver of the big toe. All right, bring your hands to your hips. Press into the front part of your right foot to help straighten the leg. And turn the right toes forward, parallel to the front edge of the mat. Turn your left toes out, and let's keep hands on the hips for now as you bend into the left knee. Draw the core in, squeeze your left glute, and that's going to help keep your left knee over the ankle. Press down through the outside edge of your right foot. Keep the shoulders right over your hips. Okay? Thanks. Arms, reach out in front of you. Keep the fingers and the energy sealed, and then open up the arms. Draw the shoulder blades back. And then look over your left arm. Out and beyond. Soft yogi gaze. Warrior 2. Virabhadrasana 2 in Sanskrit, the ancient yoga language. Let's bring the hands back to the hips. Straighten your left leg. Turn the toes forward. And let's fold forward over our separate legs. Hold one elbow, or hold opposite elbows. Let's sway side to side carefully. And let's take a block. And if you don't have one, that's okay. You'll just place your hand on the floor, maybe fingertips. Bring your right hand down in front of you, right in line of your line of vision. We're going to press down into the right with the right hand. Open the left arm up. You might not go very far. Keep the whole arm in view. Don't just, crank the arm back just to get it there. Keep it out in front of you. Over time, the core will open up and you'll be able to twist more. And left hand down, switch sides. Left hand down. And you're going to press down into the left, press down through the outsides of your feet to keep the hips level. And just be ready. Every day is different. Every side is different. Some days you're like, whoa, I can do that. And then you go back to show someone and you're like, I was kidding. Right hand down. Bring your hands to your hips and stand up. Let's step to the top of the mat. Bring your feet to touch. Let's stand tall and enjoy a breath. Lift the arches. Let's spread the toes. Lift and spread the toes. That'll help you to find all four corners of both feet. Lengthen the tailbone. Relax the shoulders. Breathe. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Seal the palms, lift up, index fingers out, gentle back bend, or any arm variation. Just arms overhead is what we're looking for. Lift out and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, roll the shoulder blades back. Exhale, forward fold. Press into the heels and right away start to build up your spine, hearing in your own mind all those little adjustments. Tailbone, core, shoulders, breath, relax the temples. Tree pose. So stand on both feet to begin with, and we will shift our weight to the left foot. We're going to lift the right. The only thing you cannot do is place the foot on the knee. I know it feels like this perfect little shelf, but no, that's bad. You will start with just a kickstand. Once you feel that, just relax your hands, or hands at heart center. You might have the inner calf. You can use your hand to help you reach the inner thigh. The right glute is squeezing the knee open. The gaze is soft. Find a place you can hold and appreciate a few rounds of breath. Place the right foot down and feel how the weight redistributes. The right foot almost feels kind of pillowy. The left ankle is releasing and relaxing. That is your body-mind connection, noticing how those changes are happening. Balance on the right foot and pick up the left. Remember to avoid the knee and to squeeze the left glute as a way to open the knee out. Try to keep the hips level. And I know we might be wobbly, but in theory, if someone were to take a picture of you from the waist up, they might not be able to tell that you're balancing on one foot. So that will mean lowering the lifted leg hip. Hands to hips can help you with that. Find your pose, find your calm. Place the left foot on the mat and notice the left ankle. It almost feels good to stand on the left foot as it takes over the stress that the right foot and ankle was feeling. And again, let's connect to the breath. Connect to whatever got you to this moment right now. You know, who knows? But yes, you are more than this body, than this moment. Let's lie down on the mat. I can get caught up in talking about how cool I think all this stuff is, so get ready. Lie down on your mat, on your back. Untuck the shoulder blades and lower the chin. Just a little bit, not like tucking it in, but just to lengthen the back of the neck. Palms are up by your sides. So I talked about the feet taking on the stress from one another. Feel the upper back take on stress that you might not have even noticed the legs were enduring. That pressure of the mat rising up to meet you. How heavy can you feel? Let's keep the eyes open, but the gaze soft. That's going to help you to stay present. Hug the right knee into your chest. Interlace your fingers on top of the shin and hug the knee in. You should feel pressure on the hip flexor. You might need to move the knee to the right a little bit to make space. Keep the chin or the back of the neck long. So if you pull in your knee and your chin goes straight up, you got to release some of the leg. Switch sides. Lengthen out the left leg, lengthen out the right leg, and hug the left knee in, or whichever leg you haven't done yet. Lengthen the breath. Extend your left leg back out onto the mat. Hug both knees into the chest, nose to knees for a moment. And then relax the head and the neck back down and find a moment of stillness, just hugging the knees in. Release the legs. Lengthen out. Bend the left knee, place the foot flat. The right ankle is going to cross over the left thigh, like you're sitting in a chair cross-legged, and roll the ankle a little bit. Make sure you can draw a full circle with the foot. The right knee is opening out. You might already feel this to add in the right glute. To add on, you're going to lift the legs and reach underneath the right calf. Interlace your fingers behind the left thigh. Lightly flex the feet, and you can let the head and the neck stay back. A lot of teachers call this figure 4. Janupadasana 1 is Sanskrit. This is a good one to do every single day. Same with the one knee in at a time. That should be every morning and every night. Release the legs, lengthen them out. And bend the right knee, cross the left ankle over the thigh. And notice if this is enough, and then do make sure you can draw a full circle with the ankle. We don't want to be too far out or too crossed over. Decide if you're going to stay here or lift up the legs, leave the head and the neck back. The elbow, the left elbow, can be an assist to keep the knee opening out. Feet are lightly flexed. The expression is soft. And release, lengthen out the legs. Belly twist. Bring your arms out, shoulder height. Try to keep the palms down. If that irritates your shoulders, then they can stay up. Soles of the feet on the mat, knees are bent. Press into the feet and lift your hips up and over to the right just about 2 inches. Hug the knees into the chest with the left hand and guide the knees across to the left. So hips bump to the right, legs go to the left. Try to keep the right shoulder on the mat, and a block between the knees or under the knees is helpful. If you're deciding between the hips and the shoulder, please select shoulder because the legs are heavier, and over time that's going to twist into the torso. Let's encourage this twist with a breath. Breathing against any constriction. Lift the legs back up. Scoot the hips back to center and lengthen out the legs. Place the palms up by your sides for one smooth breath. Other side. So bend the knees, feet are flat, feet are pretty close in toward your hips. You're going to lift your hips up and over about 2 inches to the left. Lift the legs and roll them to the right. Right hand is on top of the legs. You might use a block or a pillow in between the knees. Lengthen out the breath. Smooth out any tension. I have a tendency to kind of grip my top hand, or your jaw might be clenching, or maybe there's a thought you need to turn off and bring back to the breath. That decision to think about the breath every single time is like an exercise for your mind. Like the way you would do a crunch and repeat it, that repetition of deciding what to think, where to have your thoughts and attention, that is something you can be better at, right? It's a lifelong process. Let's bring the legs back in and lengthen out. Take a full breath. Full body stretch. Reach the arms overhead, flex the feet. You can arch the back. Kind of like you're waking up in the morning and you have no pillows or headboard or pets or people. And exhale, either roll to one side or sit up. Let me get resituated. And extend your legs out in front of you. Leave the knees soft if you need to, so you can sit up tall. If you need, blocks underneath the hands can be really helpful to help you to use some arm strength to lengthen the spine. Inhale, reach up and out of your waist. Arms overhead and forward fold over your legs. Let's keep this gentle so the knees can be soft and the back can round. That can feel really nice on the upper back. I like to stretch the whole back body. So many people say yoga, let me show you if I can or can't touch my toes, and there's more than that. And that's not just hamstrings, it's the entire body, the back body. Bring yourself up to a seated position. Soles of the feet touch. Knees are apart. And your feet can be a comfortable distance away from you. Well, stay facing sideways. Feet can be a comfortable distance away from you. Hold on to the outsides of your feet. Roll the shoulders down. Sit up tall. Do your best to keep a flat back. Come forward over your feet. And when you get near the end, you're going to round the spine and lean back. Hang onto your feet. And then tilt the pelvis forward and up to build through the spine. And we're forward again with a flat back. A few rounds like this. Gently feeling through the hips. Learning how to articulate through your spine. And reverse that direction. Round the spine, tuck the chin, lean back onto the tailbone, and then lean forward. Pull the chest through, sit up. A few rounds at your own pace. Bring yourself up to seated, or the spine is lifted, and fold forward over your legs. Even if you can go farther, a block will help you to lengthen out and help you to relax. And that pressure on your forehead, let's say you place the forehead on top of a block. About an inch above the eyebrows, right in between, is where your third eye is located. The pressure here will subconsciously remind you to trust your intuition, to trust that you are more than just this physical form. Press into the hands to sit up. Place both feet on the mat in front of you, hip width. Knees are bent. Bring the arms behind you. Fingertips point toward the heels. We're going to press into a reverse tabletop. Press down evenly through both feet, through the hands, and lift. Pull the heels back towards you. Try not to let the knees splay, and if you're okay, the neck can release back. Breathe. Release. Sit back down. Extend your legs out in front of you. Sit up tall. Reach the arms overhead and forward fold over your legs again. Any variation, as intense or as gentle as you want this to be. Press into the hands to walk yourself back up. Cross your feet at the ankles. Come back to a tabletop. 1 cat-cow. Inhale, arch the back. Press the hands and the feet down. Exhale, scoop the tailbone, tuck the chin. Neutral spine. We're going to go into a pigeon. If this ends up being too much, you will do that figure 4 where you lie on your back and cross the knee over, or the foot over the knee. Bring the right knee behind the right wrist, and the right foot will be across. Lower the back leg down. When you start out, the right glute is going to be very tight, and your right heel will be really close to the hip flexor. A block underneath the right sit bone will help you to move the right heel forward, because someday we do want this shin to be parallel to the top edge of your mat. Let's say you have the block under your right hip, or pillow. You're also going to want one underneath the forearms. This is pigeon. This is a very deep hip opener. It is known to stir up emotions, so be extra mindful of your thoughts. If you have any questions about these other little comments I'm adding, like the third eye or just mindfulness, please let me know in the comments below. And I will often chat through this because it is a very intense pose. Take a couple more breaths, relax the temples. Release by lifting, pressing into the hands. Remove any props and step the right knee back into a tabletop. Find some movement that sounds good, that can just be what I call organic movement. It's just whatever sounds good and it's natural. Left side, left knee behind the left wrist. So you can use your hand to help assist getting yourself up there. And then on this side, the block will go, or the prop will go underneath your left hip. And try to square your hips to the top of the mat. And then you will softly relax over the legs, the front leg, using a prop under the forearms as well. Lengthen each inhale. Complete each exhale. Be present. Reel in your thoughts. Smooth out the breath just a little bit longer. And we are finished. Press into the hands. Let's come back into our all fours. Find some movement that sounds good. I like kind of an upward dog where you lean side to side. Nothing really technical, just feel good. Let's do one amazing cat-cow. Inhale. Long exhale. Neutral spine. Make your way to a comfortable seat. If it's available, if you have a pillow or a block, I highly recommend you sit on it. It'll be more comfortable, but it is also brings the hips over the knees, even if it's just a few degrees. This is going to help you to relax and open up over time. Sit up tall. The spine is long. The back of the neck is long, so maybe the chin lowers a little bit, and the crown of the head really is the crown. Bring your left hand to the right knee, right hand behind you on fingertips or a prop. Let's twist, draw the right shoulder back. Maybe the chin floats over the shoulder. Eyes all the way to the right. Take a breath. Unwind and switch sides. Make sure you are staying tall. You always lift before you twist. Left hand behind you, right hand to the left knee. And picture the shoulder blade drawing back. And then you might do the chin, the eyes. Breathe. And release. Find a little bit of motion with the head to get out any tension. And then bring your hands to your knees. Palms are up, hands are open to receive. Allow the eyes to softly close. Shift your focus of the eyes to the third eye. Relax the jaw. Relax the temples. Be present. For a few rounds of breath, I will let you know when it's time to emerge a rejuvenated version of yourself. Bring your hands to heart center. Gently blink the eyes open and feel your eyes take the light in. Inhale, arms reach overhead. Palms touch. Let's lift out of the waist once more, one more sip of air. Long exhale. Lower the hands down, heart center or by your sides. The light in me honors the light in you. That is Namaste. Namaste. Thank you so much for being here. Please let me know in the comments what else I can offer. I am happy and so excited to help. Thank you. Subscribe. I will see you in my next video soon. I will link some others you might also enjoy in the comments below. Namaste.